White Shadow. Sorry, I was just adjusting my seat for a second. The Rose Garden was truly splendid this year. The roses were blooming like crazy, as though they were competing with each other. In that rose garden, Kinzo, Canon, and Natsuhi could be seen.
今年も良い花をつけたな。お前の手入れの賜物か？
ありがとうございます。今年は気候が良かったもので、
普段にも増して庭園が美しく保たれていますね。見事です。
ありがとうございます。
今日という日でさえなかったなら、バラをめでながら紅茶を楽しむこともできただろうに。
Kinzo shrugged. Today was the family conference. When it came to the other siblings' businesses, they hadn't heard anything good. On the contrary, those siblings probably planned to turn the conversation to the topic of Kinzo's remaining life, and hold a quiet feud over the inheritance.
不愉快な奴らだ。時にクラウスの方はどうなのか。レイの借金返済の計画は無事に進んでいるのか。
確かに現実性のある計画のようです。
Okay, that's good. That's good.
ただ、計画の規模がだいぶ大きいようで、なかなか思い通りに結実しないようです。
可能ならば、今日の親族会議を迎える前に何とかしたかったものだな。
はい、申し訳ございません。
良いのか、金蔵。
Hey, Beatrice.
そんなところをのんびり散歩しておって。
Cage. How had she gotten up there? Well, it's pretty pointless to wonder about that sort of thing when you're dealing with a witch. Beatrice was casually sitting on the roof of the arbor, almost as though she had been basking in the sun.
半魔法の毒素の塊である親族どもが押しかけてくるのだぞ。鉢合わせになったらそなたの魂など一瞬で蒸発してしまうぞ。
すでに死んだ身だ。蒸発もまた小気味が良いというもの。
そういうわけには参りません。どうかお城宮家のためにもうしばらくお力をお貸しください。
夏日、親族どもの乗った船がこちらへ向かったようだぞ。そろそろ散歩は終わりにした方がよかろうな。
そうですか。ありがとう。お父様は書斎へお戻りください。
やれやれ。この絶好の日和なのにな。残念だ。
愚痴るな、金蔵。今のそなたはわらわに生かされているだけの幽霊であろうが。そなたに毒素で消し飛ばれてはわらわも夏日も困るのでな。おとなしく書斎へ閉じこもり、布団でもかぶっておれ。
死してなおバラをめでる機会を与えられただけでも幸運とするほかないが。わかった。書斎へ戻ろう。だが紅茶はもらいたい。カノン、源氏に紅茶を届けるように伝えよう。今日はマルコ・ポーロでももらおう。
かしこまりました。
では解散しよう。夏日、私抜きで見事親族会議をこなしてみせよ。
もちろんです、お父様。 彼らの前で名乗ることはできませんが、主人はすでに後宮家当主。私もその妻として恥ずかしくないよう微力を尽くします。
朝から胃痛を起こしているクラウスに比べ、夏日はなんと落ち着いたことか。我が息子が情けない。
主人にも主人の才能があります。その及ばぬところを支えてこそ私は妻なのです。
しっかりあれ。私は茶番の邪魔にならぬようおとなしく閉じこもっているとしよ
う。カノン、お父様を書斎までお連れしなさい。それから現時に紅茶の手配を。
肩を借りるほど猛録しておらぬわ。
He seems to be struggling a little bit, though. Refusing Ken's attempt to lend him a hand, Kenzo rose from the flower bed he had been sitting on. The retired head left everything in Natsuhi's hands, and returned to the study at a gentle pace.
様になっているぞ。金蔵の亡き妻にも似た貫禄があるな。
万一お父様が半魔法の毒素にやられたら、魔法は瞬時に解けてしまうのですか？
瞬く間だ。わらわは姿を消せばよいが、すでに亡者の金蔵は姿を失えばたちまちのうちに太陽の風に吹き飛ばされ塵と消える。用心せよ。
ええ、分かっています。
そなたには魔女の才能があるかもしれぬな。半魔法の毒素をためにためて年を重ねたが、それでもなおそなたは魔法を理解した。わらわとの出会いが幼少の頃であったなら、そなたは今頃偉大なる魔女だったかもしれぬ。
私は後宮クラウスの妻で当主夫人です。名誉を守るためならば魔女にも鬼にもなりましょう。あなたの魔法の力には深く感謝します。後宮家の名誉はあなたの力なくして守れませんでした。
その話は機会を改めよう。その際はぜひ女同士二人きりでのんびり紅茶を楽しみたいものだな。
スリランカに行った友人がバラの香りの素敵な紅茶を送ってくれました。
ほう、リンブラか。悪くない。ならば茶受けはパティスが良いぞ。この度の親族会議が無事にごまかし通せたなら、わらわへの褒美としてそれをぜひに振る舞え。
Alright, before we continue on, what is patis? Yeah, I think they mean fish sauce when they're referencing patis, but this might not be correct. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Fish sauce is a liquid condiment made from fish or quill that have been coated in salt and fermented for up to 2 years. It is widely used as a staple seasoning in East and Southeast Asian cuisine, following widespread recognition of its ability to impart a savory umami flavor to dishes. It has been embraced globally by chefs and home cooks. The umami flavor in fish sauce is due to its glutamate content. Soy sauce is regarded by some in the West as a vegetarian alternative to fish sauce, though they are very different in flavor. Fish sauce is not only added to dishes as a seasoning, but can also be used as a base in dipping sauces. Yeah, I think, that is what they're referring to when Beatrice says patis. Fish sauce. But that might be wrong. If I am wrong, please say so in the comments.
約束であるぞ。
わかりました。約束しましょう。では、後ほど。
後ほどな。
See ya! The witch made her body crumple into the rustling winds, became gold flower petals, and scattered into thin air. Natsuhi watched her go, then turned on her heels and headed for the mansion. After that, there was no one left in the Rose Garden. Except for Lambda Delta. Org is short, number 200 million in C minor.
ここでブレイクタイムね。ここまでの展開だけど、なんか文句ある？
何もないわよ。おしっこしたいならさっさと行ってくれば。
Alright. Alright, I'm actually refreshed now. Thank you for letting me have a pee break.
ひどい言い草ね。金蔵はもう死んでるのよ。それがこうして歩き回って言葉を交わしてるじゃない。それって魔法ってことにしちゃってもいいのかしら。まあベルにはこんな手今さら通用しないわよね。
I forgot that was a new effect. I forgot that was a new effect. Sorry, that spooked me a little.
しかしあなたはどうかしら、バトラー。これっておかしいでしょ？金蔵を蘇らせた魔法の存在を認めざるを得ないんじゃない？
もしそれがベアトの真似のつもりならば、不愉快だから即刻やめろ。
やっぱわかる？それでほらほら、バトラーどう答えてみせるわけ？こうして金蔵がカッポしていることを。いつものゲームみたいに頭を抱えて、こんなのわけわかんねえよって泣き言聞かせてよ。そして全然ダメだぜってお約束の口癖で、お得意のとんでもでぜひ反論を聞かせてよ。死んだはずの人間が歩き回れるわけないものね。集団妄想を見せる未知のウイルス、六軒島症候群の仕業と六軒島だけに住む謎の蝶の鱗粉に幻覚作用がとか、謎の秘密組織山犬が作った集団妄想を見せる未知の薬物、プルプルピコピオの仕業とか。
You clever bastard. You clever bastard. Well, it seems like Lambda Delta finally finished Higurashi.
素敵なとんでもいっぱい聞かせてよ。
うるさい、黙れ。こんなのは問題にもならない。
Grandfather is dead at this point in time. There's no way he exists.
それを存在するかのように振る舞っているのは、なんとかじい様の死を隠して親族会議をごまかしきろうとする夏日おばさんの嘘だからだ。
へえ、夏日の嘘。嘘をつくと死者が蘇るの？ それって夏日の魔法じゃないの？
この世界はブラウン管を除く前の世界、開く前の猫箱の世界だ。夏日おばさんがじいさまと一緒に散歩したと語り、誰にもそれが嘘であることを確認できない限り、夏日おばさんがじいさまとバラ庭園を散歩したことは夏日おばさんの事実として提示できる。だからじいさまが現れることができる。
That extremely unflattering applause was coming from Bernkastel.
ブラボー。あなた、ベアトがいないと冷静なのね。
うるさい。お前も黙れ。
お待ちなさいよ、バトラー。あんたのご考説によるなら、夏日しかいない場所には金蔵が現れることは確かに可能かもしれない。夏日しかいない世界で夏日が金蔵を観測したと主張したなら誰にも否定はできないものね。でもあの場にはカノンが居合わせて彼も金蔵を見てるのよ。それをどう説明する気なのよ。
He was just playing along.
まったく問題ないな。カノン君は後宮家に雇われてる使用人だ。夏日おばさんにじいさまの死を隠すために口裏を合わせるように命令されてるはずさ。だから夏日おばさんと同じように存在しないはずのじいさまを見ることができる。
あいにくね、ラムダ。もうバトラはその程度の子供騙しには引っかからないのよ。
The look she had on her face was amazing.
そうみたいね。ま、こんなのゲーム前の前座よ。料理の前のアペリティフ。
飲み屋のお通し、寿司屋の緑茶。
うるせえ。青字で言い直さなきゃ先に進めねえのか。
そうね。一応もらえる？
じいさまがすでに死んでいるにもかかわらず何事もなかったかのように闊歩しているのは、じいさまが生きていると思わせたい連中が生み出している幻想だからだ。同じ思惑を持つ人間たちはその幻想を共有できる。そしてあたかもじいさまが存在し、ついさっきまで一緒だったかのように語る。だからさも当然のように闊歩しているんだ。よって夏日おばさんに組みしていない人間の前にじいさまの幻想が現れることはできない。だからこそ書斎に閉じこもって出てこないという設定が必要になるんだ。
In the games before now, grandfather was always shut away in his study. I'm sorry. We never met him directly. Hey, man! However, there were some people who spoke in a way that made it seem like he was locked up in his study in a bad mood, and who claimed to have met him only a short while ago. We blindly accepted that, and believed that grandfather was in the study. So that's why it was possible for an illusion of grandfather to exist in the study. That's right. In the games before now, the only people who met grandfather were Uncle Klaus, Aunt Natsuhi, and the servants. Because they all stuck to the same story. An illusion of grandfather was able to exist on this island, making it seem like he was alive.
ご丁寧にも、お前のゲームの冒頭で。
What about episode 2 with Rosa? Because didn't Rosa come into contact with grandfather at one point? Or she might have known about the whole trick the whole time, so that doesn't make sense anymore. But if we go away from my whole Rosa's the culprit theory, if we go away from that, how can he explain how Rosa interacted with grandfather in a previous episode? Yeah, that doesn't make sense though. Yeah, like the whole thing about Rosa in this, the Rosa equation, that kind of breaks the blue theory slightly because, blue truth slightly because she stated that she had interacted with him in episode 2. Though, of course, this could easily be debunked as her, figuring out that they were faking that he's alive still, and she's going along with it. But at the same time, I'm hesitant to accept that answer. I'm hesitant to accept this answer. I wonder if they're gonna bring that up.
じい様の死を隠すために、夏日おばさんが南條先生たちを言いくるめるシーンまで見せてくれたじゃねえか。今さら。こんな子供騙しには引っかからねえぜ。
やるじゃない。未知の薬物プルプルピコピヨとか期待してたのに。
そんな妄言口にするわけもないでしょ。だってその存在を仮定することはファンタジーに屈したのと全く同じだもの。ウイルスだろうと薬物だろうと病気だろうと未知の要素である限りノックス第4条に違反する。
It's ironic that you're the one saying this. It's ironic you're the one saying this about viruses and diseases, Bernkastel. It's ironic that you're the one saying this.
第4条って何の話だ？
ノックス第4条、未知の薬物および難解な化学装置の使用を禁ず、殺人にこれを用いてはならないという規則よ。
なんだそれ。未知の薬物 X、 未知の化学装置 X は魔女と戦う上での一番の武器だろうが。
それ
I don't like that look.
全部正式なミステリーでは違反だから。未知のウイルス、未知の薬物、未知の病気、未知の X を仮定なんて立派なファンタジーなわけ。ご愁傷様。それがあなたの推理だったなら、あなたゲームオーバーよ。
Interesting. Interesting. So wait, so are they introducing a new concept for, answering the questions from the question arcs? Like how the question arcs had Schrodinger's cat box as well as Devil's Proof? Are we now getting into the answer arcs equivalents of those? Like new moves to help prove what's going on in the games? Huh. So, we might be getting something called Commandments. Nox Commandments? Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Like, they said Nox is 4th, right? Yeah, so there's gonna be, probably a 1st, 3rd, and 2nd that'll come up. Yeah. Nox is 4th. Interesting.
何を言ってやがんだ。
あなたはベアトと真正面から戦ってきたつもりでいる。でもね、本当は違うのよ。真正面じゃない。ずれた角度で戦い合ってたの。あなたがしてた推理ごっこはファンタジー対ミステリーじゃない。ファンタジー対アンチファンタジーでしかないのよ。
何を言ってやがるのかさっぱりわからねえぜ。だが一つだけわかることがある。俺のこれまでの戦い方にケチをつけたいらしいってことだ。
私たちは魔女幻想というファンタジーを殺すために戦ってるのよ。それはつまりこの物語を正式なミステリーで解釈するということ。つまりミステリーの禁忌に触れる全ての要素は 初めから無視してかかれということよ。
So it seems like Bernkastel is going to attack the fantasy perspective with, a mystery perspective. Interesting. Interesting.
無視だと？
例えば、これまでのゲームで何度も密室殺人があったでしょ？
ああ。
あなたはベアトとその度に犯行現場で隠し扉が存在しないかどうか随分と熱心に確認していたわね。まるでそれ自体が戦いであるかのように赤き真実を織り交ぜてガキンガキンと派手に。あれ、私に言わせると時間の無駄だって。ノックス第3条で明記されてるんだもの。
I called it. They are gonna introduce other commandments. Yeah, since there's a fourth one, there's gotta be a first, second, and third.
秘密の通路の存在を禁ず。ミステリーではね、秘密の通路はあっちゃいけないの。つまり正式なミステリーとして解釈しようとする場合、隠し扉があるのかどうかなんて論争初めからしたら負けなのよ。だってないんだから。存在するかもしれないと疑う時点でもうゲームオーバー。つまり犯行現場に隠し扉が存在しないことが証明されてないから推理できないなんて。甘ったれたあなたはミステリー失格。その時点でゲームオーバー。
Jeez, Bernkastel's being a little bit brutal right now.
ミステリーで解釈する戦いをしてるつもりだったんでしょ？ならミステリーのお約束にちゃんと従わなきゃ。
Oh, now she's back to how she usually is. You know what? I kind of like mischievous Bernkastel more than serious Bernkastel, if I were to be fully honest here. Mischievous Bernkastel, I have to say, she's a little bit more interesting to hear from than serious Bernkastel.
そういうことよ。すべての犯行現場には隠し扉が存在してはならないの。だからその存在を確かめる行為はすべて時間の無駄ってわけ。
お前が言ってるのはあれだろ？どこかで聞いたな。推理小説の条件10か条みたいなやつだったか。
10 basic rules for mystery novels. Wait. Oh, I get it. Since she mentioned commandments. 10 commandments. Oh, so there's 10 of them. Oh, so there must be 10 commandments that Bernkastel might be introducing to Battler in this game. Interesting.
ええ、そうよ。希代の魔女狩り大司教ノックスが振りかざす魔女をうがつ10本のくさびよ。それこそが魔女幻想というファンタジーと真正面から戦い打ち破るための正しい武器。さすがベルね。厄介な武器を持ち込むこと、ファンタジーの大敵だわ。
へえ、犯行現場を調べもせずに隠し扉の存在を初めから否定できるなんて、俺にはそれこそファンタジーだぜ。
魔女側を受け持つラムダはファンタジー、それと戦う私はミステリー。あなたはただファンタジーを否定してかわし続けるのがやっとのアンチファンタジー。何から何まで反対だけど対案は一つも出せない。あなたどっかの国の政治家みたいね。
Oh man, good one. That's a good one.
うるせえぞ。お前たちとわけのわからねえ話をするためにここに戻ってきたんじゃねえ。さっさと話を続けろ。
静かになさいよ。あんたの後ろの眠り姫が辛そうよ。
Oh shit. Which in gold, Symbalo. When he turned around, he saw Beato's living corpse resting in a chair. However, sweat glistened all over her body, and it felt like she was breathing a little harder than normal. She looked as though she was suffering from a high fever.
Beato, どうしたんだ? 大丈夫か?
大丈夫かって。あんたおかしなこと言うのね。その子を殺すためにあんたは戦ってるんでしょうが。あんたに合わせて第5のゲームを改装しているけれど、ゲームは今ベルンがかなり追い込んでいて魔女元素を打ち破ろうとしているの。その存在が否定されかかってるんだもの。苦しむのは当然だわ。
あなただって今金蔵が存在するわけがないと魔女元素を打ち破った。あなたの攻撃がベアトに通った証拠よ。彼女のその苦悶は。
Is Balor? Wait a second. Is Balor indecisive whether or not he actually wants to beat the witch or not? I think, oh my god. I think Balor does not know whether or not he wants to actually defeat Beato. Oh man, that's interesting. Yeah, I actually legitimately think that Balor is hesitant to defeat Beato. Because to defeat her, he has to kill her. But for some reason, I have a feeling that, for some reason, Balor is not wanting to kill Beato. And that's interesting. That is interesting. I wonder why he doesn't want to kill Beato. No, seriously, I'm actually kind of confused. Why does, like, I find this interesting, but at the same time, I am confused. Why is Balor trying to keep Beato alive? This is... I'm getting into this. I'm getting into the answer arcs. I'm getting into this. I tried to at least wipe away the sweat on Beato's forehead with a handkerchief. It's true, I promised Beato that I'd let her die. But that was supposed to be peacefully. I wasn't planning to make her suffer first. My goal isn't to make the sleeping Beato suffer like this before killing her. As if the complicated feelings inside me were plain as day to them, the two witches grinned together. Moonlit night. Oh, are we going to the family conference? Maybe. Or maybe not, I can't tell.
姉貴がイサンイサンって騒ぐから親父に聞かれちまったんじゃねえかよ。
私のせいじゃないわよ。どうしようもないでしょ。たまたま廊下にいて聞かれてたなんて事故でしょ、事故。
予算か二人とも。今回は運が悪かったと思って諦めるんや。男の機嫌なんてほっとけばコロッと治るもんやで。
気分を害したお父さんがおかしな衣装を残さないでくれるからね。
Oh, he kinda already has with the epitaph. Well, when did he write the epitaph? He must have written it before this conference, but maybe this was before they realized that the, epitaph was likely his will to the inheritance. The relatives sighed deeply and fell into silence.
こら、マリアもはしゃがないの。エンジェちゃんが転んだらどうするの。
Oh, Angie's there. Angie.
お待たせしました。
I miss Angie. You know what? I'm already missing Angie. I'm already missing Angie.
船の準備が整いました。
ほな行くで。今はぐちぐち言っても始まらんで。
またのご来島を心よりお待ち申し上げております。
And away the relatives go. Oh, are we going back to Natsuhi? Yep. Natsuhi was sitting on a bench in the rose garden, looking completely worn out. However, when she noticed that Kanon and Kumasawa were coming back, she immediately sat up straight, regaining the dignity of the head's wife.
船は出ましたか？
はい。たった今、出港なされました。
そうでしたか。見送りご苦労でした。主人はどうしてますか？
先ほど、お部屋にお戻りになりました。お休みになられるとのことです。
I bet. I bet because he probably had to spend an entire night faking his father being alive. That's gotta be exhausting on the brain. I'm gonna be honest here. That's gotta be exhausting. Since the previous day, Klaus had been almost overwhelmed by anxiety over the thought that Kinzo's death might be discovered. When the family conference ended, his weariness must have suddenly gotten a hold of him. However, the way he had refused to let even a sliver of his true intention slip out, and the manner in which he had managed to act as though everything was normal showed that Klaus's nerve was nothing to sneeze at.
どうでしたか？彼らはお父様のことを不審がってはおりませんでしたか？
いいえ。親方様に遺産分配の話を立ち聞きされたと。エヴァ様などはそれは大騒ぎでしたとも。あの慌てっぷり、傑作でしたね。
はい。大層取り乱しておいででした。
しかし、熊沢もなかなかの演技力ですね。あの廊下での慌てっぷりは、本当にそこにお父様がいらっしゃったかのようでしたよ。
You know, I kind of want to see this scene of them just totally faking an encounter with Kinzo. I want to see this scene actually. Like the scene they're referencing right now, I want to see this scene of them totally faking Kinzo being in the corridor. Man, I wish that was written out.
熊沢さんはそういうのが大変お上手ですから。
あら、やだやだ、褒めすぎですよ。
熊沢の病欠の電話は簡単に信じないよう、よく現地に言っておかなくてはなりませんね。
それは手厳しゅうございますよ、奥様。
本当にご苦労でした。お前たちと源氏とシャノンには約束通り過去1ヶ月分の休暇の買い上げと新たに5日の有給を与えます。
Wait a second. Did Kinzo die a month before? So that means his body was over a year and a month old by the time of 1986. Please don't tell me they just left it in the study. Oh, that room's gonna smell horrendous! That room would smell horrendous if you left a body in there for a year and a month! 13 months! That would be horrendous smelling!
秘密の手当ですよ。取得に際しては源氏と相談し、他の使用人たちに気取られないように。
ええ、心得ておりますとも。ねえ。
熊沢さん、声が大きいです。
おお、いけないいけない。
そうですね。この話はこれまでとします。各自通常のお勤めに戻るように。そうそう、ゴーダに特別にお茶の用意をさせました。いただくように。
hope. Natsuhi let them know that she wanted to be left alone for a while, so that she could drink some black tea in the rose garden. The black tea, carried all the way to the bench, was the Sri Lankan tea dimbula that she had promised Beato, along with the patis. And sitting on either side of it, the head of the wife and her witch could be seen, both of them staring at it curiously.
これがパティスですか。私はてっきり焼き菓子のようなものだとばかり。
Natsuhi hadn't thought for a moment that it would have. 1 second. Natsuhi hadn't thought for a moment that it would have a curry-like spicy flavor, and had started coughing after putting it in her mouth. To describe it in Japanese terms, it was like age gyoza stuffed with mashed, curry-flavored potatoes, fried dumplings, age gyoza. As a savory snack, it would probably be pretty popular with the kids. However, it was something of a shock to Natsuhi, who expected that a treat to go with tea would be something sweet.
知らんのか？リンブラといえばこれだぞ。紅茶ならクッキー。ああ、チョコでもよいな。日本茶なら羊羹だが、塩昆布でもよい。中国茶なら小籠包。わらわは月餅も好きだ。
驚きました。随分と文化に詳しいのですね。
She's a witch. Why wouldn't she?
まあ、伊達に1000年は生きておらぬ。
That too.
世界の名茶は一通り試した。お茶の世界旅行といったところか。
確かに、それは立派な世界旅行ですね。このような紅茶の楽しみ方もあると、今日初めて知りましたので、これは貴重な体験です。
わらわは六軒島より出られぬ身。これくらいしか旅をすることはできぬでな。そなたはどうか。富豪の妻らしく世界を優雅に旅してきたのであろうが。
ジェシカが生まれる前は、主人はいろいろな国に私を連れて行ってくれました。嫁ぐまでは一度も海外旅行をしたことがなかったので、どれも新鮮な体験でしたよ。
そなたも窮屈な家に生まれたらしいな。
厳格でしたが、素晴らしい教育を施してくれましたよ。それを窮屈と呼んでは、お父様とお母様に失礼です。
雄弁に窮屈であると語っておるわ。
Klaus might have pitied Natsuhi, or he might have wanted to take her away from the restrictive Ushiyamiya family for a little bit and let her rest. Or he might simply have wanted to take his wife around countries he knew well and show off everything he knew.
主人はお父様と違ってアジアの国が好きで、香港、台湾、韓国にタイ、マレーシアも行きましたっけ？
クラウスめ、金蔵の西洋かぶれに反抗したつもりか。しかしアジアも良いぞ。日本人は丸ごと西洋かぶれだからな。外国といえば西洋しか想像せん。西があれば東もあろうに。
私も西洋の知識はそこそこにありましたが、東洋の知識はあまりなかったもので、旅先でいろいろと主人にからかわれましたっけ。
As Natsuhi grumbled that they had all been very tiring trips, Beato secretly peeked into her heart. Oh? Are we about to see Natsuhi's backstory? I bet we are. Far.
いいか？
Yes, we're seeing Natsuhi's backstory!
これは貧乏という。 ここでは庶民的な嗜好品だ。
Areca nut? Wait, what is this? The areca nut is the seed of the areca palm, Areca catechu, which grows in much of the tropical Pacific, Melanesia and Micronesia, Southeast and South Asia, and parts of East Africa. It is commonly referred to as betel nut, not to be confused with betel, piper betel, leaves that are often used to wrap it, a preparation known as paan. The term areca originated from the Malayalam word
Adakia
and dates from the 16th century, when Dutch and Portuguese sailors took the nut from Kerala to Europe. Consumption has many harmful effects on health and is carcinogenic to humans. Various compounds present in the nut, including acrolein, the primary psychoactive ingredient, which is similar to nicotine, contributes to histologic changes in the oral mucosa. It is known to be a major risk factor for cancers, squamous cell carcinoma of the mouth and esophagus. As with chewing tobacco, its use is discouraged by preventive efforts. Consumption by hundreds of millions of people worldwide, mainly with Southern and Eastern Asian origins, has been described as a neglected public health emergency. I've never heard of this nut before, but that's interesting. It looks like a small, round, gourd-like nut that had been split open, with a slice of cucumber wedged in it. At a glance, it looked as though it would probably taste like pickles.
なるほど。これをかじればよいのですか?
As she tried to bite the one her husband was holding, he suddenly moved it away. It felt kind of embarrassing, like she was a fish who took the bait.
まあ待て。貧乏には食べ方がある。確かにかじるのは正しい。かじる。もぐもぐと噛む。しかし食べてはならない。
かじって噛むのに食べてはならないのですか?
うん。かじって噛む。食べてはならん。そして汁も飲んではならん。胃を痛めるからな。
わかりません。どうしてそんなものを食べなければならないのです?
ガムのようなものと思え。噛んで味を楽しむ。噛んだくずと汁はこうして紙コップに吐き出す。
あなた、お口の中が真っ赤ですよ。拭いて拭いて。
The handkerchief she had wiped Klaus's mouth with, a favorite of hers, also had bright red marks on it now. Something that's poisonous if eaten or drunk, and it makes the inside of your stomach, your mouth, not stomach, oops, I'm sorry, and it makes the inside of your mouth so bright red. And on top of that, having to spit something out after you've put it in your mouth. How indecent. Thinking this, Natsuhi firmly refused what Klaus was offering her.
嫌です、嫌です。結構です、結構です。
こういうのは異文化体験だぞ。ここでしかできない体験をしなければ旅行の意味がない。
Klaus kept chewing, ignoring the fact that even his lips were being colored bright red.
こいつは親父殿も好きでね。昔は取り寄せたのか、屋敷のテラスでももぐもぐやっていたものだ。夏日が来てからはやめたようだね。
You know, I am curious to try one of these. I am curious to try one of these. Even though Wikipedia says it does have some negative health effects, I do want to try it at least once. Because it seems interesting. It seems interesting. I actually want to try it.
ほら、君が私よりも尊敬する親父殿も愛用していたんだぞ。ほらほら、遠慮なく試したまえ。
いやいや、やめて、やめて、あなた。
When he was traveling the world, Klaus had the innocence of a child. He wouldn't even conceal his jealousy of the respect Natsuhi normally gave Kinzo. Just being able to see that side of her husband made traveling all the way to another country worthwhile. Klaus kept on urging her to buy it. But Natsuhi, undaunted, ran from place to place and finally yelled at him when he was being too pushy. Klaus was miffed for most of the bus ride. What a child, to let something like this get him down, Natsuhi thought, astounded. Then, a native tour guide on the bus took out one of those Arekra nuts and started explaining about it. He talked about how it had been a beloved luxury item in these parts since ancient times, similar to tobacco. About how its popularity was declining because young people were starting to take a dislike to it, just like Natsuhi. And about how it was being treated as a good luck charm in this area, and was known as a symbol for couples. She looked at her husband's face. He turned away abruptly, but it looked like his cheeks had gotten a little red. I have to say, that is a cute memory.
夫の肩に身を委ねて手なんか握っちゃったりしたわけか。
Hold on there, you're going a little bit crazy, Beato.
なんだ、そなたら夫婦結構純愛ではないか。燃え上がっちゃったであろう。その晩とかん。
Beato! Beato! Red face and avoiding Beato's eye, Natsuhi tried to hide her embarrassment by stuffing the Beatrice hole into her mouth, chewing with her cheeks popped out like a blowfish. Beato said that there was nothing better than to go with it. I'm sorry, but this scene is actually really cute. Beato said that there was nothing better than this to go with tea, and nodded several times, a broad smile on her face. Oh, the music's fading out.
もっとも、それも新婚の頃の話です。
Cage.
今は六軒島を出ることもできぬ身。カゴの鳥ですよ。
I wonder who else is like that.
それを言うならわらわも同じよ。死ねども死ねども六軒島よりは逃げられぬ。カゴの鳥はわらわも同じだ。
あなたのことは知りませんし、詮索もしません。しかし軽んじれぬ境遇であったことは察します。
老名主を気取るつもりもないわ。同じカゴの鳥同士、せいぜい仲良くしようぞ。わらわはそなたを気に入ったぞ。
そうですか。
Interesting.
ありがとう。
Wasn't Beatrice actually kind of bad-mouthing her in episode 2, though? Maybe. She might have. Or she might have not. Huh. For some reason, I think I remembered Beato bad-mouthing Natsuhi in episode 2. Huh.
この度の親族会議における使用人たちへの指示や采配は見事であった。
Or maybe, over time, she grew to have a partial respect to Natsuhi? I'm not for sure, though. Like, her harsher treatment towards the younger servants was something that Beato noticeably did not like in the second game. But she also has a liking to her as well. Because, well, let's be honest here, Natsuhi's overall a pretty decent person compared to, well, the rest of the family. Yes, she is kind of mean to the servants, but at the same time, I have to say, I think she's a decent character as compared to, well, the rest of the family.
金蔵が何時にどこにいて何をして何を残したか、それらを見事に共有させ矛盾なく組み上げた。それらの緻密な計画書は高度な魔法陣のそれと同じ美しさがあったぞ。
To make it look like Kinzo actually existed and was living life his own way, She had written his schedule for the day down to the finest detail and made the servants follow it to the letter. Who did he meet? When and where did he meet them? And what did he leave with them? What was he doing? When and where was he doing it? And what did he change? As a result, even though the relatives hadn't seen Kenzo even once, they never suspected him in the slightest that he had been there. Ava and the rest truly believed that their conversation about the inheritance had been overheard by Kenzo as he happened to walk through the hall, and that it had sent him into a rage. Everything had gone just as Natsuhi's plan had predicted, down to the finest detail. And the coordination between the two of them and the servants had also been spectacularly intricate.
万一にも知られるわけにはいかぬ秘密ですので、念入りに策を練りましたから。
その緻密さと意志が絶対の成功を呼ぶ。どうやらそなたは魔女としてはラムダデルタ教の一派らしいな。
Oh yeah, because certainty.
それを魔法と自覚したならば、いつでも魔女見習いを名乗れるレベルだ。
それを魔法と呼ぶなら、熊沢あたりは差し詰め、手ごわの魔女ですね。
Whoa! She has really good comebacks. Like, Natsuhi has extremely good comebacks. Holy crap.
忙しい日に限って腰痛で休むと連絡があります。毎年、親族会議の日にはいつもです。
But wait, she came to this conference. And the next years.
ああ、熊沢は違う違う。もっともっと高位の魔女であるぞ。正体知ったら驚くぞ。
Wait, what was Virgilia the witch of again? Oh, she was the former Beatrice, the former Golden Witch. Yeah, that was Virgilia. Moonlit night. Watching these two have their pleasant chat was another pair with steam rising from the black tea. However, this second pair was in a world that the first couldn't see, where golden roses blew.
ロノウェが気を利かせて、同じリンブラとかいう紅茶を入れてくれたぜ。
I thought the pair that they're referring to were Lambda Delta and Bernkastel, not Balor and Virgilia? Nope, Beatrice. It felt as though Beato muttered something. For the first time, it felt as though she had been able to communicate something. Surely, she had taken an interest in the black tea and felt like drinking it. Thinking this, Balor took Beato's cup in her hand and made her grip the cup. Oh. Beato's eyes trembled sadly, and her fingers shook. Almost as though she couldn't even move her fingers as she wanted to. And was mourning the fact that she could no longer even enjoy the tea she had once loved without assistance. That was how she looked. So Balor rested his hand on Beato's, softly took hold of the teacup, and lifted it to her lips. Future. Then, though it was only a mouthful, Beato sipped. A single mouthful. Oops. Even though it was a single mouthful, Beato sipped. The days in which they... The days in which they had been in a killing fest with red swords and blue wedges had already seemed like the distant past. Now, not only was Beato unable to do that, it was even difficult for her to make her body do as she pleased. Even just drinking a mouthful of black tea like this was hard. This is a peaceful song. I really like this song. Oh my god. I think this is like one of the first new songs that I'm hearing from the Antarcts. Oh, I love that violin! Oh my gosh! Fuck it. Umineko, definitely. I expected a lot of good songs from the Antarcts, and with the first song I'm hearing, they're already blowing my expectations out of the water. Holy crap. I expected the Antarcts to have a great soundtrack, and this song already blew my expectations out of the water. And I think this is the first one I'm hearing, actually. This is the first one I'm hearing, I think, from the Antarcts, so holy crap! Fuck, man, this song's really good! Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, I knew that, the question arcs, if I like the music of the question arcs, the answer arcs I'm probably gonna love because, well, these are the later games. And of course, usually with future installments, the OST soundtrack gets better. And holy crap, it definitely got better. From this first song alone, I'm already in love with the OST of the answer arcs. I'm already loving this OST. Fuck, man.
バラの匂いが素敵な紅茶だよね。口に合うか?
Of course. Beato didn't respond.
どうしちまったんだ。これもまた作戦なんだろ。落ち込んでるふりをして後でバーッと驚かそうって作戦なんだろ。それが狙いならもう二度と同じ手には乗らねえからいい加減にしろ。
I don't think she's faking.
お前がそんなざまじゃこっちも調子が狂うんだよ。なあ、そろそろ引っかかったなバーカってバカ笑いしてくれよ。どんなネタもあまり引っ張りすぎると笑えなくなるぞ。二番煎じなら特にな。笑ってくれ。あそこで夏日おばさんとお茶を飲みながらケラケラと笑ってるみたいに。せめてニヤーっと笑うくらいはできねえのかよ。
二度とないわ。その子が笑うことはもう二度と。
You can't crush me like this, Bernkastel. You can't do this to me. Come on. You can't do this. Also, I'm glad this is not in red because there might be a possibility that she might laugh again. But jeez, God! My heart dropped as soon as you said that. God! Those sudden words were exceedingly cruel. Hey, Bern.
どうして二度となんて言える？ベアトの笑う権利を勝手に奪うな。
あら、赤で言った方がいい？
Please don't. I shook my head fiercely. Then, with an expression that didn't reveal her thoughts in the slightest, Bernkastel spoke while looking at Beato's face. And I didn't understand the words she used in the slightest.
おめでとう。
Oh? Twirl.
何がだ？
ベアトがそのざまなのはあなたが勝ったからこその結果だからよ。
So it's Balor's turn to be broken by Bernkastel. AG was, totally destroyed by her. Now it's Balor's turn. Though technically, it was Lambda Delta that destroyed AG, to be fair. Still, It was Bernkastel's trick that ultimately destroyed Angie. Just Lambda Delta was pointing it out to her. So now it's Fowler's turn to be messed with.
何を言ってやがる。
あなたはかつてのゲームで言ったわ。これは互いを苛む永遠の拷問だとね。そうよ。ベアトにとっても拷問だった。そしてその拷問ゲームにあなたは勝ったのよ。だからベアトの魂は殺され、人形同然の屍になり果てた。
俺がベアトを殺したというのかよ。
勝敗はどちらか一方の勝とうとする意志がくじけた時に決まる。あなたとベアとの戦いという意味においてはすでに前回決着がついていたのよ。まああなたにとっては預かり知れぬうちにだろうけれども。
なら俺の勝利なのにどうしてゲームが終わらない。どうしてこのゲームがまだ続いている。
その子の足首についてる足かせ、ラムダが施したルールなのよ。
Even if Beatrice tries to yield, or gets discouraged, or gives up, she isn't capable of stepping down from the game. That's the rule. Or maybe it's a curse.
かつてあなたが屈しそうになった時、私はあなたをサポートしたわ。あなたには知覚できないだろうけど、あなたにとって有利な展開とヒントが与えられるように私はあなたに助力した。だから今あなたはここにこうしていられるのよ。覚えてる？私に助けられたこと。
Bernkastel stared at me. It's true, I wasn't aware of it. But maybe it was true. That she had helped me.
同じようにラムダはベアトをサポートしてるわ。そして今度はベアトが屈しようとしている。だから今度はラムダが屈しないようにサポートしたわ。それが足かせ。投了を許さないことによってベアトをゲーム上救ったわ。
何をどう救ったってんだ。
本来ゲームは2つの終わり方があった。どちらかが負けを認めて投了するか、どちらかがチェックメイトでゲームに勝つか。ベアトはその前者に抵触しかけた。だからラムダはそれを潰し、敗北をギリギリのところで回避したの。ゲーム上は立派なサポートだわ。
In that case, the only way left for this game to end is for me to win. At the very least, until I do win. This switch called Lambda Delta can probably try to buy time for Beato's condition to turn back around. But that will just prolong Beato's suffering even more. Neither of us want that. Both Beato and I fought with all we had trying to win. It was because we were both giving it everything we could muster that the game repeated several times to begin with. And that was also why, that one time, we confronted each other head-on with all of our strength. And Beato had made a defeat. She said she wanted me to end this game, and entrusted everything to me. So, Bernkastel's words were the truth. She said it was my fault that Beato had become a living corpse. That was true. But it was something both of us wanted.
俺たちの勝負はもう決着している。なのにゲームは終わらない。だからベアトは俺に託したんだ。早く勝ってこのゲームを終わらせろってな。
Now that the game has been resolved, For it to continue any further would be torture without end to Beato. Nothing more than a nightmare. I have to give her a perfect checkmate, end this game in the truest sense, and give Beato a peaceful sleep. For that reason, I'll keep fighting. But by continuing the game, Beato's eternal torture will continue. It felt as though I could only let her sleep peacefully by surely strangling her to death.
もう俺には真実なんてどうでもいい気がしてきた。ベアトの気が済んだなら、もうゲームなんてどうでもいいだろう。ベアトは投了した。俺は魔女幻想の真実など捨ておいて、家族と家に帰る。それでいいじゃねえか。
If only Lambda Delta hadn't placed the curse on that shackle on her. Oops, I'm gonna repeat that. If only Lambda Delta hadn't placed the curse of that shackle on her, this battle would be over already. That's why I find it detestable. This game, where I have to torment Beato even more to end it, is detestable.
何？真実に近づいたら、ベアトが苦しそうな表情を見せるようになったんで、急に手心を加えたくなったの？なら好きなだけ手加減するといい。あるいは、ベアトに勝ちを譲ればいい。そして、妹に孤独で悲惨な未来を無限に強い続ければいい。
そういうわけじゃねえ。
That's right. I have to return for Angie's sake as well. I know this isn't the time to start feeling compassion for Beato.
ならきっちり殺しなさい。その魔女を。
Even though Beato was right there, Bernkastel spoke without holding back.
あなたの目的はこの女も殺すことよ。あなたは前回のゲームでベアトに壊れて口にしたわ。
She is low-key making the "we live in a society" pose. She is low-key in the "we live in a society" pose.
お前を殺すってね。
ああ、そうかもな。だがそれはお前にとやかく言われることじゃねえな。
知ってる？爪を剥ぐときはね、一気に剥いでくれた方がマシなのよ。
We're going really hard with the references this episode, aren't we?
あなたみたいに優しくおっかなびっくりとぐりぐりもたもたと剥がれる方がよっぽど痛い。あなたのしてることの方がよっぽど拷問だと思うけど。慈悲があるなら一気に殺しなさい。それが殺すということよ。
余計なお世話だ。俺がこいつにどう引導を渡すかは俺が決めることだ。お前もあのラムダデルタという魔女も関係ない。俺が殺す。他の誰にもそれは許さない。
その意志に変わりがないならいいわ。私はあなたにかけてるのだから。いい？決して忘れないことよ。このゲームに決着をつけない限り、あなたが解放されることは決してない。あなたにだってこのゲームを放棄することは許されないのだから。
分かってな。
ラムダの狙いは分かってる。ベアトと同じようにあなたにも戦意喪失させて、二人とも生き人形にしてこの世界を永遠に安定させることよ。そんなの嫌でしょ。私も困るわ。
お前の都合など知ったことか。だが俺はゲームを捨てない。ベアトとの戦いの責任を放棄しない。
目的が同じで嬉しいわ。そしてそれは躊躇なくその子を殺せるということよね。
そうだ。
I have no way of knowing whether those words eased her pain or hurt her. But because of this dull tingling in my chest, I believe she must have been hurt. I have no way of knowing what the silent Beato feels. If I believe she's been hurt, is that any different from her being hurt? And if I hadn't thought I hurt her, would I have been able to get by without hurting anyone?
で、あそこで夏日とお茶を飲んでるベアトだけど、大丈夫よね？
ああ、大丈夫だ。
金蔵の時と同じよ。ベアトリーチェなんて存在しない。あれは魔女の力を借りて危機を乗り越える妙案を思いついたと信じる夏日が生み出した偽りの魔女幻想。二人が並んでお茶を飲んでるように見えるのは、ゲームマスターであり物語の語り手であるラムダデルタがそう解釈しているからなだけよ。夏日に対し一片の愛も持たずに凝視できたなら、そんな幻想が見えたりはしない。だから私の目には夏日が一人ぼっちで黙々と紅茶を飲んでるようにしか見えないわ。
Ah. She's seen this without love. Oh man! We're going back to the perceptions of love and how you can, see different things within stories depending on the love within what your thoughts are. Oh my god, we're going back to the perception talk. Yeah. We're going back into thinking about perception and how one's perception could easily sway a story and its storytelling. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes, we're finally going back to talking more about the way to interpret stories using perception. Perceptions of love or not love. Oh my god. Fuck, I'm really enjoying myself. Without love, it cannot be seen. Because love is lacking, it cannot be seen.
あれは夏日が見せている妄想。あそこにベアトリーチェなど存在しない。
Beato mumbled softly. It was a small voice that made it sound like she was in pain. The thorn of Bernkastel's truth had stabbed into her chest.
ああ、そうだろうな。お前の推理は正しいと思うぜ。だが、それをベアトの前で口にするな。
どこで口にしたって同じよ。ここはベアトの世界なんだから。
あとは、こいつを擁護するわけじゃねえが、夏日おばさんが本当に未知の人物 X、ベアトリーチェと名乗る人物とこうしてお茶を飲んでる可能性だってあるんだぜ。この光景は1年前のものだろうが、この日の島の人数が赤き真実で示されてるわけじゃない。
そうね。この日の六軒島の人数についてはラムダも赤では語ってないわ。
なら夏日おばさんが本当にベアトリーチェと名乗る女とお茶を飲んだと主張することもできるんだぜ。俺にお前の説を否定できないように、お前だって俺の説を否定できないんだ。だからそこにいるベアトが幻想だと断じることもできないぜ。
ああ、猫箱理論。それベアトには通用したかもしれないけど、私には通じないわよ。
どうして？
だって夏日はそこで 一人ぼっちで紅茶を飲んでるんだもの。
Whoa! Okay, so you did not feel any hesitance to say anything in red. Wow! There was a violent sound of glass breaking. Damn, Bernkastel. Holy crap. And the Beato, joking about Natsuhi's newlywed years and laughing happily, was erased. A lonely wind blew, and the one person who remained on the bench drinking tea with a tired expression was Aunt Natsuhi, all alone. Holy shit. Beato groaned. I could see clearly that she was in anguish. Eternity. Another witch illusion had been smashed, calling Beato towards death. In short, this is what the battle to let Beato rest in peace is all about. A second ago, Bernkastel likened our fight to the torture of tearing fingernails out. If I have to tear them out anyway, then my last bit of compassion towards Beato should be to minimize that pain. In other words, even if I want to minimize the pain, I still have to cause it. I have to accept that look of anguish on her face. And at the same time, this made me realize what a merciless thing the Red Truth was. Right now, in this rose garden, there is no one except Aunt Natsuhi. In other words, there are no observers except for Aunt Natsuhi. So, if that lone observer were to say that she'd had some tea with Beato, no one should be able to refute that. If no one can refute that, doesn't that mean it's the truth? Aunt Natsuhi is enjoying the roses and drinking tea together with Beato. How could anyone have the right to mercilessly trample that pleasant moment?
赤き真実はまるで刃物だ。魔女と戦う上で時に推理を切られ、時に反撃の武器となる刃物だ。
知ってるわよ。それが何？
みだりに使うな。刃物は使うべき時に使えば道具だが、悪意を持って使えば凶器でしかない。
It was true that Aunt Natsuhi hadn't really been drinking tea with a witch. However, saying that with the Red Truth probably has nothing to do with our game. Our game is the tale of October 1986. The 2 days of the crime gives us more than enough time to injure each other with our red and blue blades glistening.
これは魔女幻想じゃない。夏日おばさんのプライバシーだ。それを暴く権利なんて誰にもあるものか。
You go, Battler!
この場に魔女が実在して、夏日とお茶を飲んだと認めてほしいの？あなた、魔女を否定するんじゃなかったの
？1986年10月4日から5日の2日間のゲームについてはな。だが、そのゲーム版の外についてまで、俺は魔女の存在を問うつもりはねえぜ。そもそも、悪魔の証明により、魔女の否定は不可能だ。そして、このゲームのルールに従い、赤でそれを語るのもステイルメイトで禁じ手だ。赤き真実でさえ魔女の存在を否定はできねえんだぜ。
確かに、まさかあなたに魔女の存在を語られるとはね。さすがラムダ。バトラーを人間犯人説と魔女がいてもいいという気持ちのうまいこと中間に引っ張り出してきたわ。人間の心を操るのに本当に長けている。 私ももっとあなたを応援しないとまずいわね。
お前らなど知ったことじゃない。消えろ。これは俺とベアとのゲームだ。お前たちに私はしない。
嫌よ。
何？
だって私もこのゲーム楽しんでるんだもの。
Oh man, I'm really enjoying Bernkastel as a villain. Villainous character? Yeah, she's definitely a villain. No, there's no doubt about it. Bernkastel is a villain. Oh my god, I'm fucking loving to see her actually, you know, going through with her role as a villain. Especially, well, actually, how much am I allowed to say? 3, 2, 1, I'm about to say Higurashi spoiler. Especially with how we saw her in Higurashi as Rika. God, seeing Rika actually, you know, be a villain, for some reason, is actually making me more interested in her character than I ever had before. Okay, I love Rika, and she's a really in-depth character. But when you add in the layers of Bernkastel to Rika, she becomes 1,000 times more interesting. I'm sorry, but Bernkastel gets me to look at Rika in different ways. That's probably the feeling that many people have after reading Umineko. They see Rika in different ways. And now, I'm finally able to understand why many people see Rika in many different ways, with the character of Bernkastel. And, okay, I won't go into the discussion of whether or not Rika is Bernkastel, if a version of Rika had turned into Bernkastel. Like, I don't know the exact details of that. I do not know the exact details of that, but Rika is connected to Bernkastel in a way. That's one thing I will say for now. That's the only thing I will say, because the confirmations of anything with Rika and Bernkastel, that's just a mess to go through. And plus, I'm trying not to look into that mess because I don't want to get spoiled for Umineko, so I haven't looked too far into it. But holy crap. If you can interpret Rika as being a part of Bernkastel and Bernkastel being a part of Rika, it really brings a lot more stuff into the storyline of Rika Furude from Higurashi. So yeah, dang, I'm totally seeing Rika in a different light, and honestly, I am enjoying this Bernkastel personality of hers. Yeah, sorry for going to spoiler territory, but I just wanted to say some things about, you know, Higurashi's connections with Umineko. Like, I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Just a little bit, because, well, I don't want to dive too much into spoiler territory because, well, there might be some Lambda Deltas down in the comments below who haven't read Higurashi yet, so I did not want to spoil anything from Higurashi. So anyways, yeah, let's continue on. Bernkastel disappeared, leaving only that unpleasant laugh behind. After that, all that remained was Natsuhi, sipping tea all alone. Beato, her hand still on the teacup as she stared blankly at the surface of the liquid, and me.
Bernkastel にラムダって言ったか。ワルギリアはお前の友人と言ってたが、お前友人は選ぶか。いや、むしろ性悪なお前にはお似合いなのか。
Beato didn't answer. Battler took Beato's hand, made her hold the cup again, and brought it to her lips. Beato made a quiet sound in her throat, and drank just one more mouthful. Then, Natsuhi's lonely tea time ended. Her truth, which was only hers and observed by no one else, had been defied. In Natsuhi's world, that tea party, which had been peaceful despite her annoyance at Beato for making fun of her too much, must have come to an end, and the two of them probably went their separate ways. However, in Natsuhi's exposed truth, she was all alone. Natsuhi trapezed away. On the bench, only a single person's cup remained. Umineko, Yonakukori ni Chiru, Nocturne of the Truth and Illusions. Oh man. Locked room barrier. Ooh. Interesting. Oh. Okay, novelette. We'll be beginning next chapter with Jessica. Alright. Yeah, we're beginning next chapter with Jessica, and holy crap! You know, by the direction that this episode 5 might be going, it might give episode 4 a run for its money. Even though I had just declared episode 4 is my favorite visual novel of all time. From the first 2 chapters of episode 5, I can already see this game making episode 4 have a run for its money. Holy crap!
Okay.